This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
You guys hear it?
We didn't.
You were that subtle.
Very subtle.
Good for you.
If anyone heard it, let us know.
So if you didn't listen to last week's show, Tyler said he's going to add things to the intro. He has not. So Liam is now adding things so subtly to see how quickly people notice, specifically Tyler, and I didn't.
Totally in the...
I heard a ting of some sort.
I think the ting was there, though, wasn't
The
it?
ting was already there, yeah.
I need to listen with headphones.
This is true. We didn't have it really pumping through the speakers for us.
I kind of miss having headphones on sometimes, but
Just look official.
it does look way more official.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the one that got the Star Wars headset every time.
Yes. That was a very, very important one.
Yeah. Yeah, that was vital to the production. It's funny to look back on what the show used to be like in this office. But we used to have that weird, a rhombus shaped table, I guess.
Yeah, that was like a weird.
Yeah.
Made out of hockey sticks.
Made of log sticks. I'll have to wear headphones despite being like
Right next to each other.
closer
Shoulder to shoulder.
than ever would be in any other public
room
space.
with the green screen behind us.
Yeah, the green screen, which was not straight.
No.
So,
This podcast has been in a lot of studios.
Yeah, I think we're
It's been under
Not
construction.
a lot of professional studios, though.
I don't think we're at our final resting spot either.
No.
No.
One day we just get told to go somewhere else.
Yeah, I assume we're going to be somewhere else at some point.
We'll be back in that closet soon enough.
And also, I look over at the other studio. It's very empty.
There's literally nothing in there.
Good thing you did all the construction in there.
I know.
This whole building was built for the purpose to have like a podcast
We
studio.
need more studios, okay? We're in one. No, we got to move. What are we going to put in there? Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. We don't
But we
count.
have more shows to do. Yeah, we'll use other rooms in here that we're using for something else.
Wanya, you don't have an office. Fuck off.
Yeah. Bed and breakfast. Get out of here. We need to do our show.
Only one though.
You gotta be out by
Two.
you gotta be out by 8:30 so the boys can get in there and do their show at 9.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
My favorite was sales guy Jared was staying there at one time, and we gave him very specific instructions. You have to be out by this time. So okay.
out by 9, and I remember we went upstairs and the door was shut in the bathroom and the bedroom. I'm like, oh boy, I hope he's not here.
Yeah. All right. As we decided a couple episodes ago, we're rotating the delicious debate. Rick's on deck today, but first I got to tell you, pumped to partner with Odd Company Brewing to bring you the all-new Nation Beer, the Nation Beer Everyday Lager. It is perfect for your next big game, your next go-to lager. Perfect for a celebratory beer, I would also say. After an international game goes our way. Find it at either Odd Company location here in the city or at liquorconnect.com, the little search engine for your beers. Find it at a liquor store near you. If it's not near you, ask why. Ask why they make poor choices. Don't you want to sell more beer? Of course they do. Rick, over to you.
Well, I figured, you know what, after the last week of or 10 days or whatever hockey we've been watching there and have finally ended last night, that we kind of had to speak on that. So instead of just giving your opinions on it, I figured we're less than a year away from doing this all over again.
Mm-hmm.
Which means we got to start putting together a roster.
Yes. Love building rosters.
So my question to everybody here, add one, drop one.
Add one, drop one.
Add one, drop one.
So another thing for this too, which doesn't help what you just said, you can have a bigger Olympic roster than you would have for this roster. We'll do it for the sake of your conversation, but you can have 25 players, 25 skaters, including goalies.
Yeah, I'm pretty much more talking about who are you going to, which 12, 18, which guys are going to be playing in the gold medal game. Like I want from last night's roster to next year when we're playing someone else in the final, who is out and who is in.
Okay.
All right. Connor McDavid, he stays. I'm just going to say that. It's bold. So I'm just going to rip through the rosters from last night. They are still up at dailyfaceoff.com. So we had Mark Stone, Connor McDavid, Braden Point. Anybody pulling someone off that list?
Yes.
Yes.
All right.
Too.
Mark Stone for everybody. Someone else. He looked a little slow.
Yeah.
His stride is ugly. Like, I mean, he's just an older dude. Like, I think it's just time has passed.
He was given a golden opportunity up on McDavid's line. I thought for sure he was going to be the trigger man. And did he get a shot? with Connor on his line the entire tournament?
He scored a goal.
He scored a goal, but only with McKinnon and
Earlier.
and Crosby. Yeah.
I think he stopped shooting after he went with McDavid.
I actually thought when they bumped him up the lineup,
offense
he was
wasn't
going to
exactly
make
as hot as I thought
more
it
of
was.
an impact, but yeah, he just didn't. For people watching on video, I have the lines up as well on the screen.
Wow. Let's scroll through it then.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, second line. So we're already talking about Mark Stone coming up. Second line, you got Sid, Nathan McKinnon, Sam Reinhart. I might also consider pulling out Sam Reinhart.
Maybe the line, not the roster.
I think he stays on the roster for his abilities of
Agreed.
scoring goals.
Oh, agreed.
I think
Utility.
too, like the Olympics is longer, so maybe it gives him more time.
You got to find someone better than him too.
It's true. Not many 50 goal scorers.
Zachary Martin Hyman.
Well, I think I should have Mark Stone replacement,
We did like scramble all tournament to try and find Connor his wingers, right?
which
And I
was
think they
very,
found
very
one.
ironic.
I think they found one, but they definitely did not find
There
two.
we go.
Who's the one?
Stone. Oh, sorry. Point.
There's a point.
Third line, Brandon Hagel, Canadian hero,
Yes, he is.
Local boy,
Anthony Cirelli, and Mitch Marner.
possibly.
I think Marner will stay on.
I think Marner
He-
stays on.
To be fair to Marner, he did not have a good tournament at all, but he showed up in the two biggest moments.
Exactly. Like
Which
if
is
you're not going
huge.
to, I mean, that's sort of kind of what Connor's game was last night, right? Wasn't like
Yeah.
massive during the game, but showed up when needed him. Same with Marner, the goal against Sweden, and then two.
Pass yesterday.
I mean, that pass to that
Bennett
pass to
as well,
was
yeah.
so nice.
That's right. Yeah, he played very well yesterday. To be fair to him,
I think
Sorelli's
Cirelli might come out.
in question for
Yeah,
me.
he's
I think
he's
you
one
could-
you can pull.
I think you could keep him and just have him lower.
Do you have him in the 12 starting forwards?
If he was your fourth
I
line
don't.
center, I wouldn't be that.
I'd slide him out for Mark Scheifele.
Yeah, Mark Scheifele would
I would
like.
think Mark Scheifele's on
Yes,
this.
I love that idea. Fourth line, we had Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, Seth Jarvis. Almost amazing that Sam Bennett didn't play the first game because he was so
You
good since he
overthink
come in.
things.
Do you know what I think the most amazing part about it was? They said this on the broadcast. His first shift was the fight with Kachuk.
Yes.
Like Kachuk called him off the bench and was like, "We're going," and they fought.
Yeah,
Which
fine,
was-
let's go.
My group
Incredible.
chat was hilarious last night with my buddies where it's just kind of like, fuck, I hate and love Sam Bennett right now.
Yeah,
That was such a nice goal. Like frankly,
Hell of a shot.
So
Hell of a
nice.
shot.
With that maple leaf on his chest, I do not hate him at all.
no,
That's why I love to hate him.
Yeah, the crazy to think he was close to being a first overall pick, but
Couldn't do them
couldn't do a
pull-ups.
pull-up. Now he's like one of the toughest guys in the league.
And Flames fans thanked us for not picking him.
There's also that
Yeah.
that old
Really
tweet from
take.
Spec was circling around last night. Connor
Yeah,
what's his name? I'd take this Sam Bennett kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still?
Obviously, the other forwards that didn't play was Travis Konechny.
Again, the guy who
I
was.
do think he should have played a bit more.
I would.
He wasn't in, so I mean, you can say he can pull him out, but
Yeah,
he's not a guarantee on next year's roster to me.
no, I would agree.
Let's look at the D. Devon Taves, Cale McCarr.
I think those guys are both locked. Although I don't think Devontae's was that great.
I actually
No,
thought,
but I mean, we're talking a short tournament. They didn't have any practice time. You didn't get allowed. Like when you have that much skill out there, you need practice time to get allowed the skill to come together, kind of find each other, gel. When you can put 5 dudes out there and tell them to play defensively, and they don't have to really know each other or even work
Yeah.
together that well to play defensive
But
effectively.
he was on the team because Cale McCall was on the team. And those two were supposed to have chemistry together. And I think at moments, Taves looked lost with McCarr.
When you look at the left-handed defenseman we had last night, he was the best one
I'd say Thomas
paper.
Harley was.
on paper.
I'm a
I
big
think he was
Thomas Harley
actually
guy.
at fault for that first goal.
They're human beings. They're going to be at fault for some things.
Then he wasn't the
Nick-
best left shot defenseman.
No, on paper, I think it is. Like if
Maybe
you're
on
going
paper, yeah,
yes,
sure.
yeah, on paper,
Sorry.
I think he was the best left-hand defenseman out there.
Second pairing, Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko.
I liked Sanheim a lot. I think he was way better than expected. Obviously, elevated quite high up the lineup to Josh Morrissey not being available. I had Anthony DeMarco on ONE today, and he was saying he also plays a lot on the right side. So I think he could be someone that
Little versatility.
goes. Yeah, and he's like, injuries happen. He's like your 7th or 8th guy, which essentially he was for this tournament too.
And I like 55, so I'm keeping Colton,
Yeah, I liked Colton Parayko's game a lot. I think Sanheim was just kind of quiet, good.
which
Yeah.
is good.
Yeah, it's fine, isn't it?
Thomas Harley, Drew Doughty. I liked both of them.
Give Harley a ton
Same
of credit for stepping into a
Unreal.
moment like that.
Especially being an American. He's born in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Well, good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Good. We're getting you back for Brett Hull.
Played the long game there because he was the addition to this team.
So
I thought Thomas Harley, like for a kid that young,
He played really well.
he is
it was
legit.
awesome. So here's a question, and we won't have the answer to it, but I'll ask. Do you think he was actually in consideration for this team, or was he just available?
I really do believe
Both.
that he was available at the moment that they needed him. Like, there's no way.
But he was in a
that they
group
didn't-
of 4 or 5 names.
Yep, for sure. But
Yeah,
like, I think that they
Canada.
probably
But
reached
he
out to
wasn't,
Uyghur and
like-
were like, "Hey, Mackenzie," and
Where
he's
are
like,
you?
"Sorry, I'm in Cabo San Luca, not coming."
Yeah, and like,
No, didn't Uyghur say he was like, didn't he say he had a vacation planned and he was really excited to cancel it?
yeah, but I think he was already gone.
I think he was at
so
that
maybe
point.
I just think like Jim Neal was the GM or part of it or whatever he was, right?
Plane
Like,
ride.
he did really well too. I don't want to discredit Harley. I thought he was awesome, but I think his spot on the next team, I don't think is a lock just because he played in this tournament.
no, but he
I
showed
think-
himself.
Yeah, he did.
If he's got a Canadian sweater on, I don't know how Canada could put a team together without Drew Doughty.
I agree. I think Doughty and Marchand are in like the same category for me.
That was his 10th game of the year last night.
Mm-hmm.
And he was
unreal.
rock solid.
Yeah, I was really excited when they put him in. I know there are a lot of people didn't like that he got that spot, but in these tournaments, that's the type
He's been
of
doing it
player
since
you
he's
want.
19 years
That's
old.
what I'm talking about. The guy's been there, done that. And I know a lot of people don't like to talk about resumes anymore, but that dude has a resume. That dude knows how to play. That dude went out there and played.
He did.
I just like, because I was with you, like some people, when they added Drew Doughty, they're like, oh, Drew Doughty. I'm like, really? Of
Yeah,
course
that
you
was-
add Drew Doughty.
100%.
Of course you add Drew Doughty. He was so good. Fuck, I would love him in
And
Oilers
again, he
uniform,
adds
but like, it's
things-
not going to happen. But
And,
man,
and I
love
think
it.
people
Yeah.
like focus on the ice too much as well. He's a guy who's good on the bench, and I think he's really good in the room as well.
He was good everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Drew Doughty was very good.
Obviously Shea Weber, he definitely didn't
Yeah,
play.
he's not playing.
No,
You know, he's not on my
Pretty
Canadian
longer
Olympic team
next
either.
either.
No Scott Niedermeyer. Unbelievable.
Really didn't show up at all.
skate
Shea
really well.
Theodore didn't play. Josh Morrissey didn't play. Alex Pietrangelo was on the team, and I don't know what he did. Probably Disneyland again.
Yeah, he was sad.
I think all three of those guys are in the conversation next time.
You know what? And I said this last time. I had to call a couple of people, but if he has the same season he's having right now next year, I think Darnell Nurse is in the conversation.
I think so too.
You've got to find left-handed defensemen.
I think
There's not a lot of them. Like, I mean, if you this year's Darnell, I think you could put in possibly over one of the guys from last night, and he brings everything you want on this team. He can skate, he can hit, he's got some offense. If with a quality partner, we know he can play a spot.
So you would probably take out. You would take out Sanheim, I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
Unbelievable. You know, he
I know.
played in Alberta. You know, goaltending. This will be fun.
You know what? The funniest thing last night was a lot of us owed Jordan Binnington an apology.
He finished the tournament with 907.
What he did in
Solid.
overtime
Yeah,
was out of his mind.
there was some
Yeah.
adventures in regulation.
100, of course.
There was some spins. There was a couple of spin moves, a couple of facing into his own net. Moments where I said, "Yeah, I can't wait for Stuart Skinner to be back in the net."
Does
But-
this, and this was going to be my original one, but I didn't want to use it. But watching Binnington for the last couple of games, does this change your mind about Stewart at all?
Well,
Because to me, Binnington and Skinner are similar in shit.
yeah.
I wish he would have made that save. Shit, I wish he would have made that save. And after every game, everyone's like, "Oh, blame it on the goaltender, blame it on the goaltender." But chips are down. He kept the puck out of the net.
I think.
But you talk
Because-
about resume, you talk about a guy that has won massive games.
Yeah. And it just goes to show that like you don't necessarily need the best goalie to win you a game. You just need to.
Hello leak.
What did
You
you,
don't
call
need
it?
Connor. You don't need
Hello
Connor.
leak?
Hello leak.
No, you don't need. I would do anything for Connor Hellweek, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you think Binnington goes? I think he's probably a lock to go to.
He's
the Olympics.
probably
He's
cemented his job
guaranteed.
last
He's
night.
a lock to go. He's not a lock to start.
Nope. But
But who is? Like
he's in that
nobody.
conversation now. Yeah.
we did a roundtable on the website the other day too of like, who would you bring? And obviously like Zach Hyman's on everyone's ballot, but like you think about the goalies and it's just like, I don't know. Like if you had told me at the start of the season,
There's no Carey Price.
No, like Darcy Kemper, Logan Thompson, and Mackenzie Blackwood were the top 3 Canadian goalies, I would have said, what happened?
And listen,
And who died? Like
our guy here could still be in the conversation.
he could
Absolutely
be if he
could be.
turns it around.
Absolutely could be.
Blackwood too, obviously.
I think it's not the worst thing in the world to have a position where you're going to be riding a hot hand. You're going to see what he does for the start of the season.
I also
before you
like
pick
the
him.
idea of there's real competition in that spot. Play the best you can, you'll get an opportunity.
It's just
Probably.
weird because there was a lot of competition for that spot. Like when we were watching maybe 2 tournaments ago, it's just the guys who are competing for that spot
They're Hall of Famers.
we're Hall of Famers. Now the guys we have competing for that same spot are like middle of the way goalie.
Bigger question, like, hey, where are all my French goalies at? What happened to that?
Yeah.
There was a time in the 90s where there was a lot of them.
Yeah, they
We got
were.
Montembeau.
Wow.
So
You
we
got
have
one? You give me one? That's all you got? You
Couldn't
didn't even
think
get
of it.
dressed.
The pipeline is drying up.
Yeah,
Do you
like,
know-
where the goalies at?
I thought it was so funny. Like this idea that like the US is this like crazy development path for goalies. I do think it's a bit more of a coincidence than anything because like Connor Hellebuck, who's their best goalie, played in the second, basically a junior A league in the US with in the Knoll, went to UMass Lowell, which is like not a top school by any means. And now he's just like outplayed your Swayman and Demko, who was on the development team, and all these other guys. So, no, I actually think they're not doing anything out of the ordinary to like get their goalies to be this like elite standard. I think it's a massive coincidence. They're doing a good job of doing it, but I think it's more of a coincidence.
I think it goes back to something our old pal Robin Brownlee used to say on the site all the time. Goalies are voodoo.
They are.
You know?
Yeah, truly.
They just are.
I've
Yeah.
tried for a couple of years now to stop giving too much take into the goalies. A couple of years, a lot of years ago now, it was like Miko and somebody, and we'd be
Miko
sitting
and
here.
Smith.
We'd be sitting here during the show saying, "Who do you play?" And everyone's like, "Hey, we play Miko." Then they go with Smith.
Yeah.
Everyone gets upset, and then Smith plays well. Then the next we play Smith, they play Miko. Miko plays well. Like I don't know anymore, so I'm a little quieter when it comes to goalie talk.
Well, like logically, logic would dictate that kids watching Brodeur, Patrick Waugh, Marc-Andre Fleury are going to be inspired to want to jump into that position. But I do think, and again, I'm not a person that stares at, like, I don't watch minor hockey to see the goalies that are coming up in the system. But I think that at some point, the reality is going to hit in and sink into Hockey Canada and to the powers that be for younger people that you're almost de-incentivized to become a goalie at this point. Financially, you're de-incentivized. The pressure is immense, and we talk about how goalies need to be weird, but there's an element to the weirdness that is just because of the position. That
There's
that's
also the
much
straight-
scrutiny.
The scrutiny.
There's also the straight math of it too. There are 64 jobs in the NHL.
Yeah.
So like, I want to make the show when I'm older. Well, you should probably be a puck moving defenseman then.
But you want if you want to be a professional athlete, you have to like want a spot and take a spot.
Yes.
I think there's too many people that just want to be there and just kind of like, well, just bring me over here. Like have to want to be a goalie. And if you want to be the goalie, then you have to want to have, the ball, that you want the ball in your hand.
I just
That's
think
what goalies do.
Well, and the elite guys too, they just put in more work than everyone else.
Yeah, and they
And
love it.
that's a good point too. And I think that, like, you think of like Curtis Joseph's story, you're never going to hear that ever again, where he learns to skate at the age of 13 and becomes an NHL goaltender. Just not happening. So yeah, like you pointed
Peter
out, Bagmilk.
Peter Check's playing goal over in Great Britain or something like that, and I'm guessing he didn't start skating very early.
It's just it's the development, and it's like everybody looks at the Brodeurs or the Carey Prices that worked their way up, and you have to be that guy, which is just not the case. But yeah, I don't know. There's a cyclical nature to development of players for sure.
So
I
we've
think,
gone
like,
over the roster.
The super elite guys are just like, they're different animals, right? Like I played with a guy who made the NHL growing up. We were together. He was the best player on the team every single year. When he finally made the NHL, he was a fourth liner.
Mhm.
And that's no slight against him. It just shows how good the elite are.
Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, so we've gone through the roster.
Mhm.
So BM, pick one, drop one, and then do not drop or pick up the same player.
Damn it.
Oh, well, then I'm selfish. I am taking off Mark Stone for Zach Hyman. Thank you.
Done.
Applause for me.
Go ahead, Dan.
I am thinking of a winger that I want to replace with. I'm not going to do the Scheifele thing. I want to replace Tom Wilson on my team. I'm going to put him instead of Sorelli, I guess.
Man, Tom Wilson would have been fun on this.
That
team.
was going to be my option.
Tom Wilson, 32 years old. Perfect time.
He's 32?
You'll be 32 when the Olympics come around.
Okay, so I was going to take out Shirley. I'm going to take up Travis Konechny, and I'm going to put in Mark Scheifele.
There we go.
I do think that it was funny how, one, they struggled so much to find line mates for McDavid, but then also had Braden Point playing a checking role as a center. So why not just have Mark Scheifele there and Point up top with McDavid?
Well,
Even if you didn't take Hyman,
Point just kind of fell to the bottom of the roster at that point. They tried to put together lines.
He's just so good. He doesn't deserve to be in a checking role. He's not.
He looks at his coach. He's like, "Come on."
Yeah, like I'm just as good as these guys.
Canada's strength is center.
Big time.
It's always been center. So
that's why we don't need goalies.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you guys took mine, so I'm going to swap out Sanheim for Nurse.
Oh,
there you go.
New team.
Job done.
Jordan Binnington, still our goalie.
Hit us up on socials. I want to know.
Yeah, I'm not confident of bringing somebody else in there.
Take one out, put one in. I want to know who you would choose.
But my God, having Wilson on Saturday night would have been incredible.
Oh man, it would have been so much fun. Like last night, even as I was watching the game, and we'll talk more about it, but like Canada struggled to match Brady Tkachuk. He was a wrecking ball.
Yeah, that's what he does, though. I mean,
but it's what he does. So, like, if you have my point is like your pick of Tom Wilson, that's a counter that Canada has going the other way. You want a guy who caused chaos? Well, we got one too.
I love that.
The thing that frustrated me with Tkachuk being the best player on the ice is he wasn't their best player, but he was able to rise above it because he
was just their most visible because he likes to go out there and do those old school things that we don't. That we want to see.
He's Keith's kid, man. He is Keith's kid. Both of those Tkachuk are their dad.
Give me Marchand from 10 years ago. Give me Corey Perry from 10 years ago. And you just happen to have
Corey Perry 10 years ago is still 40 years old.
I know. Yeah, but he's still causing shit.
Yeah. If you were one of those new people who are watching hockey, you'd probably think Brady Tkachuk is the best player in the league.
Probably.
Yeah.
Like the impact he had in this tournament is nuts for a guy that is like, is he a top 20 player? Probably close, but like I don't know if I would think about him that much in that group, but like from an everyday NHL perspective, but like he was unreal. Him and Matthew like really took over the event.
They had a certain swagger when they were on the ice together that you can't quantify it.
Those two brothers are like, they're so good.
Yep.
And I feel really bad for the people of Ottawa when Brady decides he wants to play with his brother.
That we all know that's probably happening.
They were good, but not good enough.
Well, one of them was injured, to be fair.
Yeah, probably from the fight.
Maybe the fights were very funny.
Yeah, you got cocky.
JT Miller knocking his own helmet off.
Yeah, I'd rather knock my own helmet off than have Colton knock my helmet off.
Do you know what? I wouldn't. I'd rather have someone punch me in the face and have my helmet pop off that way than have me become a meme of punching nothing but myself.
Also, Canadian Twitter rejoiced when he took a puck to the face yesterday. That was a moment we all kind of enjoyed.
That video from the Vancouver Whitecaps?
No.
Yeah, like giving the predictions on who was going to win. And some like training guy who was just like, Canada, fuck JT Miller. Hell yeah.
Yes. Does anyone get to sit here and look at Matt Tkachuk and go, why did you play? Why did you not bring yourself on the line? You did not finish the game against Canada. You did not play the next game.
It's a fair question.
It was a groin injury, I think is what we're told. That is not something that gets better in 2 to 3 days. Why did you put yourself in that spot?
I'm not going to look at him and ask him that question. I'm going to ask Mike Sullivan why he took Kyle Connor out of the lineup for Chris Kreider, knowing that Matthew Tkachuk might not be able to go the entire game. Like, that is the question.
That's one of those ones where it's like, because what did Tkachuk play last night? Like 2 minutes?
I think they said like 6 minutes ended up being.
So you had a water boy.
Essentially like a cheerleader, basically is what he was.
So like you're telling me to Rick's point that you wouldn't have rather had Kyle Connor in there for a guy who didn't play?
Anybody.
But
like a live body.
The counterpoint would be that tell Matthew Tkachuk that he's coming out of the game.
Well, you're the coach. You're boss man.
I guess.
He is old enough. He's a Stanley Cup champion. He has to sit there and put the team first. Mm-hmm. Your ego comes second.
It's not the American way, Rick. It's not the American way.
It's the hockey way, and that's why they lost.
So Matthew Tkachuk, who played 15 shifts last night at 16:47, still played more than Chris Kreider at 6:25, who had 11 shifts. Like, that is tough. And I think a couple of those shifts are basically him going on the ice, spin around, come to the bench.
Well, did I hear that correctly? Austin Matthews got a shot on goal, and they said this is the first shot on goal in the tournament for Austin Matthews.
Yes, they did say that. He ended up with 4.
So can we? I know this has been brought up more than once by very prominent people now inside TSN. Can we stop talking about Austin Matthews being great? He's good, yes, but he's not on Connor's shelf. He's not on Nate and Leon's shelf. But I don't know who else on the shelf below that without really looking at things. But I don't think he's there either.
Are you saying that about Sidney Crosby too?
Sidney Crosby's 45 years old.
I know, but like
Austin Matthews in his prime.
Yeah, but it's a tournament. It's a best on best tournament. And sometimes those bests, when there's so many of them, don't rise up.
The funny thing about Matthews was
always rise.
The best thing about Matthews was the shots, whatever. Selke. Who lost his man on the winner?
Yeah.
Oh,
he went top going. He went top cheese there.
That was a hell of a save by Binnington.
After the first 4 or 5 just 10 bell saves from Binnington, the rest of Canada is just like I felt like the Canadians didn't have any more gas left in the tank at that point.
I thought they were toast.
There's times when the other team's going to get you for 45, 50 seconds, and they're going to get a couple shots on you. You have to not turtle, but you need to like get in your like defensive zone and take a couple punches. And then find a time to counter punch.
Just take it, yeah.
And find it, yeah, and everybody has to do their job. And the goaltender was the most important one.
Bend but don't break.
Yeah. Binnington was awesome yesterday. The other player on the US that just didn't show up was Jack Hughes.
I was just like, he was a non-event.
So quiet. Quiet.
And for one, when you see Austin Matthews in the camera, and Hughes is there too. He's just, I think he might be covering his defenseman a little bit.
Yeah.
But we were talking earlier, there's a bit of a broken play. Guys are kind of out of position. You can't allow 97 in the crease by yourself. And if that means you leave your defenseman wide open, guess what? Sanheim, go ahead and take a shot from there. I'm going to double down on 9-7 here and make sure he doesn't get to do what he just did.
Because as that puck got rimmed around, and you saw, by the way, great play by Marner to like shoot to the corner.
We love that corner.
Seeing Connor that wide open, I went, oh my God. And that was before the puck even got to him.
Yeah.
I didn't understand how he was that alone.
My stepkid was sitting next to me and she said, I was in the air whilst Connor received the puck and I landed when the puck went in the net. Like it just was one of those things as Oiler fans. And I think that this tournament is like a really good picture and a really good image for us to look out to the rest of the world now and the rest of Canada, who's been real mad at us for a long time. Now we got to go and share him with the rest of the country. And they can be a little less mad at us.
To Dan's point, from David Quadrelli last night at about 10 p.m. Thank you so much for sharing Connor McDavid for 2 weeks.
Got a question though. I brought it up before the tournament started, but there were some guys down in, I believe it was Flames Nation, who were talking about cheering for other teams because Connor was on this team.
That's right.
I'm assuming they.
Where are they? Where are like it popped up. I don't follow. I didn't look.
Single fist pump. Sitting on your hands.
I want to know what their thoughts are on now.
I also want to know what their thoughts on why they wouldn't go to Oodle Noodle and get the Bombay butter chicken and a green onion cake for only $17.95. It's a dynamic duo combo. It is in store until March 25th. You got to get that in store only, as well as you can go in there very, very soon. They're going to be doing the draw for a trip for 2 to the Nation Vacation to Vegas. Go on into any Edmonton location. You get 1 entry into the draw. Buy something to eat. Of course you would. Why wouldn't you? Then you get a second entry. Join us in Vegas. That is a way to do so from our friends at Oodle Noodle. Still a couple spots left at nationgear.ca too if you want to join us on the flight or non-flight package. Get in there. We're going to sell this thing out.
Lovely. I'm going to have Oodle Noodle tonight.
I had it the other day. It was very, very cold the other day. Thank God it warmed up. Oh my God. But I had it the other day because I was annoyed by how cold it was.
Yeah.
Spicy Kung Pao for the win.
+5 today.
It's gorgeous out there.
Dan's got shorts on today.
I rocked the shorts.
Do you know what?
I dig it,
Didn't
man.
even comprehend.
Had to do it. Got to do it.
The news for Oodle Noodle. We're going to stick along with the Four Nations tournament. Now that it's over, first of all, the NHL, I think they deserve a lot of credit for putting this together.
I think they're getting the credit, but yes, you're right. Everybody is sitting there pumping their tires right now.
And they should, because this was...
They deserve this one.
So much more fun than... Look at what was going on during the NBA All-Star Game. You had Canada-USA happening, one of probably the most electric hockey games. That was really an exhibition game that I've ever seen, to a league that they can't even get their stars to show up. LeBron pulled out right before the All-Star game.
Dude, they're running their skills competition. You have like this little obstacle course to go through, and you got to do the obstacle course, and you get timed. And two guys from the Spurs, Wemby and Chris Paul,
Hall of Famer.
Didn't even care. Like, they just ran through the whole thing. They're like the bounce passes. They didn't give a shit about nothing. They just ran it as fast as possible.
Yeah,
and then they got disqualified.
They didn't shoot the ball.
Yeah,
they
just
got the shots and
just lobbed them up and kept moving. The whole thing was to get as fast as possible. They didn't care. They don't care. And I know people don't like them right now, or they're upset about him or whatever. But I think PK said it perfectly, because he was on with Stephen A. And he absolutely ripped them apart and said, you know what? The hockey players are out there doing this thing. You've got those players out there making all this money who can't play back to back, who don't do this. They're not winners. Like, Jordan was a winner. Jordan was out. Kobe was a winner. Kobe was out there. There's a picture of Kobe playing in an All-Star game with like 9 ice packs on him. And these guys are like, nah, my toe hurts. I'm not in line.
Well, I was watching
while collecting hundreds of millions of dollars.
One of my favorite things on the internet is compilations from the TNT panel. And they were talking about viewership being way down in the NBA. And I think it was Shaq or Charles, doesn't matter. It's just kind of like, yeah, if you're spending your hard-earned money to go to an NBA game and your favorite player is not playing because he's tired, what is that doing for the game? Charles Barkley goes, I did not miss games. And I'm bigger than all of these guys.
Yeah. Anthony Edwards is a good one for that too. He never misses time. Because he has awesome. The same logic. He's like, people pay to come and watch me play basketball. So
and Ant-Man's awesome. He's fucking fun.
But the NHL did an awesome job.
Also, shout out to Timberwolves fans for carving their management and not stopping. It's very fun to watch those.
I do want to be a little contrarian, just so that the NHL doesn't get its roses the whole time. I think that there's a couple of factors that play into this too. We're forgetting the fact that the NHL withheld their players and the insurance nonsense that happened in the last Olympics. The reason that we had this huge gap between Canada and US is the NHL.
It's the IOC.
But it's the NHL not
Sidney
playing
Crosby
ball.
Goal, they can't even play. They can't show the video of Sidney Crosby's goal.
Agreed. But there's a discussion there between what is the lesser of two evils. But and then also the fact that we were without hockey for 2 weeks. We're starved. And I think, like, I predicted ahead of the tournament that it was going to be one of those things that was going to pick up steam just because hockey fans need hockey and we crave that hockey. And so getting those little sniffs of it
best on best was just
I think it was good enough that it outplayed. Like, some of the people that were excited about watching Saturday night, they're going to have to watch Saturday morning with a grain of salt.
It is funny, like, the conversation has been like, how does the NHL keep all these people? It's like, well, they probably can't.
Yeah, no, they can't, because you're not going to get that all the time. You're going to get games. People need to start to enjoy the sport, like the little things, and just enjoy the sport.
You can't match rivalry games.
No,
but you need to take advantage of them. And all your rivalry games, you need to put massive spotlights on.
What'll be the win if those people watch the Olympics? Like, if if the numbers are up from the Olympics as well, it's okay. Like, people want to watch US and Canada and Sweden, Finland, whatever it may be, right? They want to watch the best players, which makes a lot of sense. And I'm sure the numbers are going to be perfectly fine. But, like, I think that's more the win than, like, watching them have.
Tomorrow morning. I hate to one up, but the real win will be after the Olympics and whenever the TV deal is up. What's the next TV deal look like? Because whoever ESPN maybe, ESPN's NBA. I can't remember who's dropping MLB after like a $550 million a year deal. They're like, it's not worth it. Like, what we get, the product is not worth the price anymore. So the ESPN deal, where it's whatever, that's insane for the NBA, they have to absolutely be upset.
ESPN has terminated a 7-year deal, which was agreed upon in 2021.
Because the product is so now they have all that money. Someone's going to go out and you're going to get a bit of a bidding war when it comes to the NHL, because if they want to. We already know Amazon wants to. You can damn right believe Netflix wants in there. So everybody come, start handing me your best offer. And now let's get going.
My hope for this tournament is, like, tomorrow's going to be, it's not going to be the same.
We're going to enjoy it because we will. But
we love the sport.
Saturday night is not going to.
We love the sport. My hope, though, is that, like, some of these big influencers and, like, a Pardon My Take as an example, they were really into this tournament. I just hope those guys maybe find a player that they can latch onto and follow. Like, a Brady Tkachuk is a perfect example for an American kind of fan base where it's just like, this guy is a lot of fun to watch. He's a bull in a china shop. I'll watch more Senators games just to see him do his thing.
McAfee jumped on with Matt Tkachuk last year.
Yeah, so like that's the kind of thing I'm hoping is that this tournament kind of like gets some of these bigger influencers down south to just kind of be like, man, this game's a lot of fun. Yeah. And some of these players are a lot of fun. And while, you know, an 11 a.m. start between the Oilers and Flyers won't beat Canada USA, eventually you just see that, man, this sport is just fun.
Yeah. I just can't wait for the American that tunes in and is like, oh, there was no fights. Why did nobody punch each other?
Yet they were always the one who are like, why are you guys fighting? We don't want to watch this.
Because you look at last night's game and it's, you know, 2 hours or whatever it is of just like back and forth. It's intense. It's stressful. And then I wish I was trying to find the number. I couldn't find it. But like the actual number of minutes of action during the Super Bowl is like 12.
I talked to a buddy of mine a couple of weeks ago. He's like, do you know how many minutes they actually play in football? And I don't know. Like I kind of get, yeah, it is stupid small.
It's like 9-10 minutes of action for an hour game.
It's less than the quarter of football.
It's insane.
So that's what I'm hoping. Like some of these people that got exposed to hockey for the first time, they go, fuck, this doesn't stop. It's back and forth. It's nonstop. It's just quick. It's fast. They're highly skilled.
11 minutes.
Yeah. That's
11 minutes is bananas
for an NFL game.
It's crazy.
That is nuts.
The only reason the NFL is that big is because fantasy football and sports gambling. Well, that's not the only reason. They're very good product.
Definitely helps.
That is what like skyrockets them.
I saw a thing yesterday because a rugby player has just signed again in the NFL, and it was the Kelsey brothers being like, "Wow, you got to be way more athletic to play in the NFL." Is that, have you ever watched a rugby game?
Yeah, have you watched rugby?
Like you have to run around for 11 minutes. They run around for 80 minutes of just like pure contact.
And they have no equipment on.
No, they have a gun shield. By the way.
Sometimes they get those like nice little ear flaps because they don't want the cauliflower ear.
Because they've already screwed up their ears.
You know?
I think that's
why I learned about checking the oil was rugby.
You touched on it there just about the NFL and its success, but I think it even goes back further, right? It's that they dominated the television way before anybody else had like television production.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just happened to be in the US playing the sport.
Steps, yeah.
But I mean, they up until mid 90s, they've been turning their game more to the CFL because the CFL was built for offense. And I argue, I hate the rouge when you miss the field goal and it goes out of bounds and you still get the point. But if you miss the field goal and some guy drops to his knee, is like, I don't want to run it out. You're damn right. I'm taking a point away or giving a point to the other guys. I want to see you run the ball. That's what this is about.
That's what it was designed for.
Yeah. Well, I think
the NFL was all in the 70s. They barely threw the ball. Mm-hmm. It was run, kick, run, kick. 9-6 after 60 minutes. That was incredible. And then you look at a CFL game and it's 47-43, triple overtime because those damn mini games don't end. You keep playing on the damn 30. Of course, you're going to score. Like a good CFL game is way better than a bad NFL game.
So do you think they should bring the rouge to the NFL?
Yeah, bring the rouge.
I think that the NFL would just be so much better if they had the 3 downs. I genuinely do think that. I think that you pointed it out right there. The run game kills the NFL. And the fact that an effective rusher only needs to have 2.5 yards.
More now.
He only needs to get 2.5 yards every rush because he can get the first down every time.
And that's why when I look at the CFL, I think they need to take quarterbacks and take them off your cap. And you need a quarterback because the CFL is a quarterback league. You need great quarterbacks. And right now, it's probably cheaper and safer to hold a clipboard in the US as the third guy, and you get paid more.
True.
So we went through a bunch of years there with shitty quarterbacks.
Yeah,
you can't make a pass.
And Anthony,
it's pass, miss, kick, pass, cut, and then it goes, kick, commercial, return, commercial. You need quarterbacks to keep the drives going, and that's what the CFL needs.
Also bring back those t-shirts from the 90s that said our balls are bigger.
Yeah.
Radically Canadian. Yep. That was the advertising campaign.
Bring that back. I'd like to see that again. That's a good idea. Back to Four Nations though, like obviously the NHL couldn't have expected or hoped for a better result. It was always geared towards Canada, US in the final.
Yeah.
But
thanks Sweden and Finland.
Four Nations showing up. 2 of them gonna win.
But like it couldn't have gone any better having the final go to overtime. Connor McDavid, best player in the game. He's the one that wins it. Like the story couldn't have been better. Also, the fact that it was happening at TD Garden made me laugh.
place where their independence was born.
That's Toronto Dominion, for those of you that don't know.
Why didn't think of that? And then in the whole, at the same time, with everything going on in this world right now, off the ice stupid shit.
It added to the intrigue, like as annoying as it was.
Yeah.
Like there was some funny videos that were popping up of some dudes that were in Canada jerseys wearing 11th, like carrying 11th province signs and like the back and forth in the crowd. It just,
well, Yegwave had that video. The two guys were like ready to go at it in the stands.
yeah.
The guy's got welcome to the 11th province. What do you think? A boot that or something like that?
That was great.
Like, oh, you don't like that, do you?
Yeah,
That was great. Interesting.
Not many boos when Canada was, lifting a trophy and the anthem was being sung.
No, they were in their car.
I booed the anthem, but
They were in their car.
Chantal Kreviazuk did like a remix on it, and I didn't know what was going on.
That was 4D chess, and I absolutely loved it. You changed the cadence of the song. You changed some of the words.
Yep.
What started off French and then went to English. I was like, I don't know this. I know this.
But she did like the first line in French and then switched. I'm like, that's not the place where you normally switch.
She had to get in her little dig.
The booing started, and that's exactly what you expected. And then the Canadians that were in the crowd took it over and started singing it. And so it sounded like America was singing our anthem.
Then they like figure out the cadence. Hold on. Catch up. Okay.
Oh, she's extending this by 2 bars. Okay.
And even the American anthem, they were
at the very end. I forget the last couple words at the very end, but she stopped and like looked at the camera and smiled.
Yeah,
and then dropped the last fucking word.
Just sing the damn song. Like, come on.
I made that joke.
I understand why the Canadian girl did what she did. She was doing she was getting her 2 cents out there.
You know what though? No.
Everybody
sing the damn song and get off. Now did not.
But there's so many people out there going. But there's so many
10 more minutes.
But there's so many people out there going. You need to say something. He needs to say something. He needs to say something, and they didn't.
If we all just shut up, we'd be in a much better place.
The big note.
That's why I loved Cooper at the end of the game because he told you everything that you want him to hear going into the game. He didn't say that.
Yeah.
But on the way out, this wasn't just a regular game. We didn't just do this for ourselves. You know damn well what he meant there.
I also, speaking of post games, like how could you not laugh at Brad Marchand calling the Americans out for talking in the media? He's so annoying.
What did he say? I missed that one.
So he said some of the political thing doesn't belong in sports. And you take a look at the Kachucks and they like to shoot their mouth off in the media. And sometimes it kicks you in the ass.
Yeah. Gotta be, Brad.
Buddy, get him a damn Oiler jersey now.
But he does it with a deadpan face on too. So he just he knows what he's saying.
100%.
And he's so annoying in the best way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I tried to find it, but there's only the abbreviated version, which was sometimes when you shoot your mouth off in the media, it bites you. And then it says Brad Marchand on the Kachuk brothers comments in the week. I didn't think they really said anything too crazy. Maybe I'm not remembering correctly.
I didn't see anything political, but I know they just have that.
The second best one was I want to say it was Brandon Hagel posting in his story the champions group chat. Hilarious.
Well, because he had the quote before that.
Yes, we don't need a group chat.
Flag, not the group chat.
Yeah. Should I read the John Cooper quote quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
So this is post game from Eric Engels. I just hope Canada's proud because every player in that room is proud to be Canadian. And yeah, we needed a win. Not only our team, but Canada needed a win. And the players bear that on their shoulders. This one was different. This one wasn't just a win for themselves. This was a win for 40 plus million people. And the guys knew it and they delivered.
And I think he was trying in all of his pressers before that was call it down the middle and not give the other team any bulletin board material. Let's keep this in our room. I bet you there's a little talk up in the room and that is helping boost the guys in the room.
Totally.
We do not need to allow this out of the room and to give you an opportunity to take away our boost.
Something we haven't discussed yet, and I'm just curious to get your guys' thoughts on it, but the hate and the anger around our ambassador that was selected for last night's game. Canada's ambassador.
Who was it?
Wayne Glensky?
Wayne Glensky.
I thought he was so blown out of proportion. He gave a thumbs up to the bench. He knows.
He walked past their bench.
He walked on it. He was on the damn bench.
Yeah,
I don't know.
But so it's the home bench versus the away bench, right?
Yeah.
So there's always more stuff connected to the home bench.
Yeah, he came out the tunnel.
Yeah, he came out of the tunnel.
And then the carpet did not go in front of the Canadian bench. Not like he'd walk over there. So he just walked by a couple guys playing hockey. Said, "Hey guys, what's up?" And went back. He's not.
I don't know.
Trying to be political. I know he said whatever he said about Trump back at whether it was right when he won or before or whatever the hell. And he's
I don't think he's actually said anything. He's just had pictures taken of him.
He said something like he said he's a good guy or whatever. And outside the politics, maybe whatever. When you're rich, you're rich. You know people a different way. I don't think that he has to say anything.
I just thought it was interesting he didn't wear the jersey.
Well, Mario didn't either, though.
That's true.
And Mario, and I saw that too. Like Gretzky, he walked by there and didn't wear anything. I was like, Mario didn't wear anything red.
And like, what was the other gentleman's name? I'm forgetting.
The guy from the Miracle Cup.
Yeah, I can never pronounce his last name.
Like he wore the Gaudreau jersey.
Yeah,
and that's like something that's been like a huge part of the US team. Like, I just thought it was a different message from that guy than like, I don't think Gretzky needed to go out in a Canada jersey. I just thought, whatever. Like, he's the greatest player to ever play the game. I think it was cool that he was there.
That thumbs up, though.
Son of a
boy. Gosh dang.
Who are a better player anyways?
Oh
my. Always was. I've always said that.
One thing that I loved,
Lemieux too.
And I went and took some screenshots with it. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. Everybody enjoying Connor McDavid, even though they cheer for like the Flames, the Canucks, the Leafs, whatever. Very funny to me.
I did see someone, and I can't remember the name of it, but he was a Flames fan, and he put out a meme of like, and Connor, to be fair, like, wasn't that good yesterday. He was good in overtime, obviously, when he scored, but it was a picture of just like gloves and a stick, and it was like Connor McDavid tonight, and then he quote tweeted himself as, "I've never said anything bad about Connor McDavid these past 2 weeks. He is so good." It was like, yeah.
What do you think?
I don't even Nathan McKinnon though. Like he scored up like. Don't look up anything I've said about him before this moment.
Binnington too.
What do you think about Connor only like lifting the trophy?
Loved it.
Like,
I thought it was hilarious.
I loved it.
I thought it was like he did like cool, thank you, but I want to lift silver before I do this.
Yes.
But then I read somewhere, and I don't think this, but they're like, oh, he was so exhausted he couldn't even lift it up all the way.
Come on.
I was like, well, calm down.
Like
he's like, thank you. Next.
He played 4 games in his last 2 weeks. He was fine.
Yeah,
he didn't play that.
And he wasn't playing like 25 minutes a night too.
The twirl he took was that
so quick.
Jump was a little bit weird. I would have like you land against the board. Like, I mean, you've got George Larocque in your back pocket. George, how do you do the glass thing?
Yeah, the good glass bang.
Yeah.
I didn't really.
I think Sid did it in 2010 too.
I don't know. I didn't know what they were going to do to celebrate. Like, do you rip your gloves off? Like, how hard do you go? Right? Like, I don't think they cared about the trophy. I just think they cared about winning. They were number one.
Well, and Sid also had a few seconds before everybody else realized what the hell had happened. So,
and he's so far away from everybody.
He was already celebrating.
But both those goals are generated from the same corner.
Yep.
The other thing too is, as they were doing like the trophy pass around, Connor was the first one who had not won the big one yet.
Oh yeah.
In like the first 6, 7, 8 people.
Yeah, because what was it? Crosby, Marchand, Doughty, McKinnon, then McDavid, I think it was, or McCall, whatever it was.
So I don't believe he was tired. I think he's got a different trophy in mind.
Oh, but and listen, he's sat there with Sid for 10 days.
By the way, the video of them having a nice hug after, lovely.
Mm-hmm. He's sitting in the same room as Nate for 10 days. You take a little something off Nate too. That asshole.
A bunch of those guys.
I want to win. You're gonna see. Does he play this weekend?
Yes.
The Oilers already put out their lines, and he's their first line center.
Well, even before you told me that, like, I would have never expected him not to.
I thought he might miss that game.
I think the team goes, "Hey, have one."
Yeah,
but then he goes, "Fuck you, I'm playing."
Because if you was it Nate? I think they asked McKinnon last night. It might have been. I think it was McKinnon. Like, how you guys celebrating? It was with beer, lots and lots of beer.
But there's also
got to play in 36. Like, Connor's got to like. Yeah. All right, guys, I got to go.
Yeah, they're drinking BLs though.
I got to get in the ice bath here, boys. I got to run some sprints here. Does anyone know where there's a good Hilton, Boston?
I saw they were drinking BLs though. Those are basically water.
Yeah,
you know, that's hydrated. The other funny video that I loved was everybody spraying champagne around the room, and then Connor just quietly sipping his beer. He was there.
He is gonna go absolutely ape shit when the Oilers win the cup. He is so reserved that when he gets that first cup, I think he's just gonna explode.
So let's talk about the Oilers. We got it. There's 2 games this weekend. 11 a.m. tomorrow against Philly. Brunch for Ben Day, by the way. So shout out to everybody who bought tickets to that. That is a sold out event. We're gonna have a great morning at Greta. Then on 11 a.m. Sunday against the Capitals.
Have we made the official moves yet? Like who's up? Who's that? Like Savoy's in.
Savoy is in.
Who
Gregor says
is out?
Gregor says he's probably playing by Draisaitl tomorrow also.
Fair. Who is out? And then that person out. Do they not have to go down to Bako?
Hold your horses, Rick. I'll give you.
Well,
the
I imagine
information.
DR's going back.
Well,
He was only allowed. We were allowed 2 guys to come up and practice with us.
Yeah.
Those were the 2. They weren't on your roster. They were just allowed to practice. So DR goes back, which is fine. But we still have a roster from whenever our last game was. Savoy's in, someone's out.
Noah Philp,
he's already down.
but wasn't that just a loan?
No,
I don't know how that works.
He went right through.
Okay.
Oh yeah, because we thought we were putting him down just to play a couple of games. So it is Philp then.
Okay, so here's your lineup.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Connor McDavid, Zach Hyman, Matt Savoy, Leon Draisaitl, Vasily Podkolzin, Jeff Skinner, Matthias Janmark, Corey Perry,
We flipped him.
He
What
hated
the
saying
fuck?
that so bad.
Arvidsson, Adam
I'm
Henry,
surprised you can see the names.
Connor Brown, Kasperi Kapanen out of the lineup. Defensive pairings, Ekholm, Bouchard, Nurse, Klingberg, Kulak, Emerson, Stuart Skinner gets to start. Tony Stretcher also out. Will he ever play again?
Maybe not.
Yeah,
Time
he'll
will
play
tell.
again. You got to rest some guys near the end.
Got to rest him.
Near the end.
So he hasn't played in a month?
The last
Like, when was his last game?
My favorite was the Oilers posted a thing like, "Hey, what do you guys get up to on the break?" And everybody's like, "I went to Cabo." Then when it got to Tony Stretcher, he went to like 6 places. He was
Yeah,
all over the
he was
place.
on the-
Stretch and Casper were together in Hawaii.
Yeah, they went to Hawaii. I think it was one of their stops.
His last game was Toronto.
Tony Stretcher.
Tony Stretcher.
Will we ever see thee again?
He was,
This is like a big week for the Oilers, though, actually getting back into action. Billy Washington this weekend.
Mhm.
Then you got Tampa on Tuesday.
Okay.
You got Florida on Thursday.
Right.
And then Carolina on Saturday. That's a big one.
Do they have 2 back-to-backs?
No.
So,
No, just
oh, sorry. I thought you said Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
Is the Saturday game?
5:00.
No Matthew Tkachuk, though, I'm assuming, in that game against Florida.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Like all I was thinking
I hope
about,
he
like,
does play, so he sits on the bench for.
yeah, that'd be great. You know what? You could be a cheerleader for Florida too. That's fine.
Yeah.
All I was thinking about though, like with a guy like that gets hurt, like your GM's got to be like punching pillows or something, right?
Well, like the Charlie McAvoy thing, I think Boston is furious.
That's something.
That is crazy. Just inject him and do it, infect him. That is not.
Also,
Toss him back in the
How
net. Get
about-
out there?
how about the Bruins being that transparent with his injury? I've never seen
Yeah.
that before.
That is very, very rare.
I think you do it to like
Send a
stick
message.
it to the training staff of Team USA.
Yeah, I wonder where those staff came from. But yeah, on the Oilers. So that's 5 games. This is probably the longest road trip of the year, I'm assuming.
Matt Savoy's going to make his NHL debut.
He should do well.
What do we think about it?
I think he's a great skater. He thinks the game at a high enough level to play with someone like Leon Draisaitl.
I also like that, you know, and who knows how long he actually plays in his first game. But if you're going to bring him up, put him there.
I mean, he's a skilled player. You should be playing with skilled players.
Like, if you're on
When
the
he's
fourth
ready,
line,
I think
that's
he's
not-
ready, put him up there.
Yeah.
If he's on the fourth line, you're wasting what he is.
I agree.
Yes.
I think you need to put him there.
Yeah.
I think he has to. And I think it's also okay too to be like, you're going to take this shift off. We're going to put Arvidsson up there for a shift.
Yep.
And then flip him back over later. Like, say he
Although
only
Sweden
plays,
didn't do that, so why would we?
Arvidsson looked good in his last game. He had a big game that last one.
Which game?
The
Yeah,
last
not for
one.
Sweden, right?
I was going to say not Sweden. No.
For Sweden, yeah. The last game for Sweden.
Against the US.
Yeah, he had a good game. It wasn't good enough. I mean,
Do you know what? I saw him come.
for what he does out there. He had a good game.
When I went to Canada, Sweden, I didn't even see him once
You know, he came down the boards against Finland. Great speed.
and fell
Just
down.
Ripped the puck right into the chest of Kevin Lankinen, who just got a crazy ticket today too.
Yeah,
That is a
silly.
big ticket.
Nice message to Demko, though. Your days are numbered.
Not if you can't get off the LTIR. They're not.
What? Is that not what they're saying to Thatcher there?
I agree.
What happened? What happened? To the kid
or
from
that
last year?
or they're going to be spending a
Oh,
shitload on goaltending.
They are because
Yeah.
what happened to that guy from last year? I thought he was the next
Sealov?
guy. Yeah.
Well, maybe Demko's gone.
How do you get rid of him?
Demko.
You want to take him?
No.
I think there's going to be a lot.
I would
of
love
teams
to have
that are gonna-
Demko, but like his injury concerns are just like
Yes, just no.
you
No,
can't.
not with his injury concerns and his ticket.
So-
no.
There's something I think about this from time to time. Back to basketball for a
This
second.
could be anything.
Steve Nash went
It
like
could be anywhere.
the entire time he was with Phoenix and was never injured. To me, that shows an indication of like a great training staff. someone who the staff knows how to take care of you consistently. He went to LA and he's older, but constantly injured.
He's always laying down with a beating pad on.
You look at the Oilers, they rarely have players like pull groins and stuff like that, right? Like their injuries are like, oh, you see it happen and you know why that guy is out of the line. Yeah, something like that.
Unless it's Victor Arvidsson.
We'll never know.
No, it could be literally anything.
But like Demko comes here and he's not healthy. He's injured. I just don't see the Oilers like staff pushing him to a level where like he'll do it again. You know what I mean?
The
like
injury.
Yeah. It's always groin with him,
and that's terrible for a goalie. We went through this 15 years ago with Martin.
Didn't he have his knee as well?
I think his knee is injured.
Yeah, Martin Havlat had that where he's always had like a
that was that core thing.
Yeah, and it was always a thing. Like that just you honestly need to like sit down and not move for like 9 months for that shit to heal, and they never do that. It's always susceptible to hurting it. So, do you have that injury? I'm trying to get rid of you right now.
Acquire him, put him on the LTIR for 9 months.
We got a.
I don't know.
Still got to pay him.
We got a handful more segments to get through.
Yeah,
we're going to rip through. Real quick though, on Matt Savoy, what would you set an over under at for games played with the Oilers this season? Is he up for a cup of coffee and then go back down, or is he? If he plays well, he could very well stay.
Well, actually,
minimum 5. Like he's on the road trip. You're not going to boot him before you go to Carolina, do you?
No, I think he plays every game on the road trip. I think Evander Kane plays such a factor in this. If Evander Kane comes back, I think he'll play longer. And then when Kane comes, he'll go. But if the Oilers know Kane isn't coming back, they'll just acquire someone and replace Savoy.
We really got to find a way to get 5 forward lines. Too many players.
Yep.
What just happened?
He's got a little ED going on with his...
There's a little ASMR.
It just rubs on his tummy. The other thing I want to mention is... what a cliff Tyson Barrie has fallen off since being traded out of Edmonton.
Too bad, really.
It is wild.
Yeah. It's
put on waivers by the Flams. I assume.
He wasn't like, he like sort of upped his defensive game at the end for us. Everyone ripped on him. And then near the end, he like really solidified his defensive game.
And he goes to Nashville. They scratch him.
Yeah.
And it's just, he's been broken since.
I don't think Nashville would have took him if he was bad. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like he wasn't just he was a thrown in that deal, but he was also a positive asset for sure. But in Calgary, I was listening to some stuff from Bonburn and he was just saying like, he's not been playing because they want to play the younger guys. It's not necessarily like he's been playing so bad. He's not been good, but he's not been like that bad. They still think he's like a top 6 defenseman in the NHL. It's pretty unfortunate what has happened to him, to be honest. What year was that? 2021? Yeah, his first year with the Oilers where he led all defensemen in points and didn't get a Norris full.
But I mean, there's a player that since he left Colorado has been on a downturn. The Oilers just spiked him up, I think, artificially.
Well, he had 3 years of 40 plus points and never played a full season
with the Leafs,
with the Oilers. Every year,
he's playing with the Oilers. I think kind of helped keep him a level up of what he actually was.
Yeah, he was only gone from Colorado for 1 year though before he came to Edmonton.
It's the Marc-Andre Bergeron effect. I liked Marc-Andre Bergeron a lot on the Oilers. The minute he left town, the offense just abandoned him.
He only
just like the second he ran into our goalie.
Well,
that too.
He ran Aaron Ward into our goalie.
Tyson Barrie only scored 1 playoff goal.
Andrew Ladd
for the Oilers. Do you remember which goal it was?
Sorry, one more time.
Tyson Barrie scored 1 playoff goal for the Oilers.
Yeah, was it game 6?
Game 6. He scored them, I think, to make it 3-2 or something like that, right?
Something like that.
And then Evander Kane scored to make it 4-2, and he held up the 7. Pretty iconic goal. Really.
The other thing I gotta mention before we move on to the betting segment for our friends at Bet365 is Frank Saravalli today at Daily Faceoff put Mikko Rantanen on his fucking trade board.
He has to.
Could the Canes actually flip him?
Yes.
But why?
Because they're not going to be able to re-sign him. You can't go through another Gensel.
But wouldn't you want him for a playoff drive?
You can't re-sign him. I think you moved on from Natchez, who is a really good player. You need to have somebody that's going to stick around for a couple of years. And if you can't re-sign Rantanen, then Rantanen walks out the door, whatever, in July, and you lose Natchez at the same time. That's terrible. This guy's just trying to keep his job at this point.
He just got his job.
Well, he's trying to keep it again.
I just think it would be so silly of them to do it based off the idea of like, oh, he hasn't re-signed here yet. Is that how long ago was that trade? Not even a month ago. Then he also had 2 weeks away from the team.
You have a feeling you're talking to the agent. You have a feeling whether you want to find him.
But imagine they go on a huge run, and like that is what bonds teams, right? That's like would make you want to stay in that city. Like Carolina is more than capable of doing it, but like the idea of like Carolina is like they're playing chess, everyone else is playing checkers is honestly a ton of BS.
Thank you. Ton of time people catch up to this.
Yeah, I mean, like
the thing with Carolina every year that confuses me is that when they get bumped out of the playoffs, the conversation is always they don't have a game breaker. They don't have that like forward who's like the next level guy who push him over the edge. They went and got him, and now they're going to trade him again.
He's never really done it on his own.
If Carolina retains, which they could,
down to 2.3.
That would bring Rantanen's cap hit to 2.3.
That's insane.
I got a team that would probably love to have him. Who gives a fuck if he resigns?
You need your assets at that point to get him.
No, well, if he's not resigning, we're not giving you shit.
Exactly.
You can have Alec Regula.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think organizationally, I imagine they can't have spoken to Rantanen ahead of time, so they assumed that they were going to be able to. But maybe the response has just been cold.
Yeah,
I don't know.
As someone like, yeah, you get vibes from like agents and stuff, but sometimes you just got to live in the now a little bit and be like, you know what? Quite frankly, I don't care that we gave up my NHS to get him because you've now proven, as to put it in a positive, that like you can acquire top talent every year if you want to. I don't know. I want to move on from him.
I get what you're saying.
I just thought it was fascinating.
Yeah. Bring him to the Oilers. I'd take him all day.
So where is he on Frank's list now?
40. Out of 40.
Yeah. But like he putting him on there is wild.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean?
And Frank wouldn't put him on there for fun.
No, that's not what he does on those lists. So like
a bad look.
Let's we got some Oilers hockey coming up tomorrow. So let's talk a little betting. The betting segment is brought to you by our friends at Bet365, proud partner of Oilers Nation Radio. Open an account Bet365 today and bet on a huge range of markets. Use the code NATION. Just going to rip through some of the mains. Waz is doing a little dance outside the door, trying to distract.
He's in a special mood today.
Beat it. We're doing a show.
He's going to sneak his head.
Also, him going face down on that bet at Greta last night. Like,
you might want to.
I don't know if I would touch that.
Wash your face when you get home.
Looking at some of the mains, if we'll call them that for tomorrow. Oilers money lines minus 200. Philly plus 165 on the money line. So heavily favored if you're looking at the puck line, which is to win by 2 goals or more. That is plus 130. The Flyers to cover the spread minus 155. The over is set at 6 tomorrow, fellas. If you go over, that's minus 115. The betting public expecting the over to hit. Sorry, is minus 115 and the under is minus 105. Looking at some of the bets, trying to find something good for the boys. Here's what I found. Let me know what you think. I know I've been making fun of Victor Arvidsson. I have.
Rightfully so.
Over 2.5 shots plus 150. He's a guy who likes to shoot. And now that I've heard the lines, he's on the 4th line tomorrow. Maybe not, but you know, Leon Draisaitl power play points plus 160.
Oh, man.
Is there any thought about the power play being all rusty after 2 weeks off?
No.
Counter. Flyers PK also rusty.
Good counter.
Easier to play defense than offense.
You're on.
I kind of think that, I'm more towards I think all the games are going to be towards that.
I think it's going to be a little sloppy a little bit. The other one I was looking at, boys, is Zach Hyman power play point plus 375.
That's a good one. I'm going to miss betting on the goal scorers from the Four Nations.
I wish they didn't get rid of the shots halfway through that tournament.
Yeah.
They were never on same game parlay, which kind of annoyed me.
Yeah.
That was annoying. Although yesterday, thank you, Betway, for the boosted bet. Canada money line.
365 doesn't have goal or
what did I say? Damn it.
Shooters tomorrow.
Mark that, Liam. By the way, thank you to Bet365. They had a boosted bet yesterday, plus 150 on the money line. Took advantage of that.
It's been weeks. We got to take down the sign. 0 days without an incident.
They took the shots off on goal. Off the same game parlays.
Tap the sign. We're back at 0. Thanks, Bag Milk. Anyways, There's a couple of bets for you. Open an account, Bet365 today, and bet on a huge range of markets. Use the code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, we're going to rip through these last couple of segments. Boys, ask the idiots for nationgear.ca. That's where you find your flight packages and on-flight packages to the Nation vacation. We're going to be there. We're going to be very excited. Stand down on Fremont Street.
Mm-hmm.
Going to be excellent. Rick, there's going to be a day where I imagine just all of us floating around the pool, watching the screens and just doing nothing but betting on sports.
Yeah, it'll be March Madness.
It will be March Madness. It's going to be wonderful. Ask the idiots. This is an easy one, I think, Rick. I'm going to start with you. Devin wants to know, just walk me through your Canada versus USA game day. Any rituals, any ticks, any concerns, or anything weird on game day yesterday?
No, luckily for me, I have like work things to do leading up to the game, so I can't get too like nervous and twitchy and stuff. I actually have things like I need to get done. But by the time the game started, I have my spot, I have my jersey on. And I'm glad I have a couple sturdy friends around because when we score, I tend to like jump on people. And I'm not like a small human, I'm not the biggest, but I'm not small. So like I've got buddies, I'll jump on his back. He doesn't even know it, and he doesn't even flinch.
You could call you an average size man.
I'll take that.
Not big, not small.
Yeah.
Dan, what was your game day?
Well, I had a couple of interactions with people in PK Subban's comments previous days. So I woke up to that message, a bunch of messages from PK Subban and the Trump stuff. So that was fun. Got me real fired up. I went out for a 5K run after that. And then just kind of laid low and put up that Shoresy anthem thing, which has now just exploded into people thinking that I was making fun of Chantal Kreviazak. I actually put that up an hour before the game, making a joke about how the anthem would be bad. But then enjoyed the game. And as I mentioned, jumped in the air before Connor scored the goal.
Liam, what was your game day?
Well, it was a Thursday and the game was pretty early. But once I had finished wrapping up everything, I made some gnocchi.
I had gnocchi last night too.
It was awesome.
Wow.
I had some gnocchi and I watched the game and I had a Magnum.
Wow, good for you. Congratulations. I didn't know you were a tripod.
That's huge.
Wow.
Impressive.
Incredible.
Sticks for the boys.
Holy humble brag here in that team.
Everybody gets a Nobody thought that was good. Nobody thought they were getting that information.
Wow.
Wow.
A Magnum ice cream.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sticks for the boys.
White chocolate, to be specific.
That's what they call them. Wow, Liam. Good for you.
Hi.
Just drops that at the end of an Ask the Idiot segment. And I have a
get it in there. I'm surprised he didn't walk out.
Holy. My game day was pretty like casual. I was just here at work. And then I had a meeting. I want to be at Greta, but I had a meeting that led right up to the game. So I just ended up watching it at home. A couple of Nation beers. It was lovely. It was lovely. Dan, you're up next. As we are today, the Oilers have 27 games left. What do you guess the record needs to be in those last 27 for the boys to win the Pacific Division?
Needs to be or is going to be? Needs to be. I think it only has to be probably, I would say 750 hockey the rest of the way. So 27 games. That's probably like what, 19, 18 wins in that time. And then you mix in your overtime losses there as well. So 18 and whatever.
Liam, what do you got? What do you think they need to win the Pacific?
To win the Pacific Division.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to see what they had last year. So today is the 21st. So from the 21st onwards last year to the end of the regular season.
Don't forget Vegas sucks more this year.
Vegas sucks more this year.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to need 35 points.
My anecdotal evidence.
35 points.
Well, they had
54.
37 in 30 last year. That's 16 wins. So yeah, I don't know. Let's say 32 points.
Rick, what do you got?
Fair.
I'm going to stick with 35 wins. 35 points.
27-0. Enjoy it, everybody. It's going to be a fantastic run.
107 points. I get you first place.
This is an interesting question that I actually really like. Going back to the jersey talk for Team Canada. Liam, I'm going to start with you.
Okay.
Say you're buying a Team Canada jersey today, but there are no Connor McDavid jerseys available. Who are you getting on the back?
Crosby. I think that's actually pretty straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
Crosby.
I already have a Crosby jersey from China. So I am going to go with, I actually have a Drew Doughty jersey as well from China, but I'm going to go with the Drew Doughty Canada jersey.
Rick, what do you got? No Connor for you.
I'll leave the, I'd probably look to see if there's another Oiler on the team at the time. If not, Dude, I loved him. I wish he was playing left wing with Connor and Point, but I'll go with Marshy.
The easy answer is Crosby for sure. Legend. One of the best to ever do it in terms of wearing a Canada jersey. He's given me some of my best memories ever. Mm-hmm. But I just want to make sure that I get his hometown correct.
Aurelia.
Brandon Hagel.
Morinville, Alberta's own Brandon Hagel. That's where I grew up. We should be putting a sign up outside of the arena today. Even though he didn't play in that arena, it's new.
That says Four Nations champion, Brendan Hagel.
His story is so crazy. Like, so he played for Red Deer, was drafted by Buffalo, wasn't signed by Buffalo, signed as a free agent with Chicago, and then was just like traded for 2 first-round picks. Mm-hmm. Never like played in any World Junior teams or anything.
Probably wouldn't have been picked if John Cooper wasn't the head coach.
Well, to be fair to him, he's the 6th highest scoring Canadian forward this season.
I'm not taking it away.
No, you're right. Like,
quietly.
I agree.
I don't think he would have been there if he didn't have an advocate on the selection committee.
Yeah, he's great, underrated.
Great addition to the team.
Yep, agreed. That's
watching him fight Matt Tkachuk is just like hero in this country.
And that's why
I'll be buying a drink in a while.
The Tampa Bay experiment was okay just because you got to see a smattering of players that you may not have seen otherwise.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Sorelli is a good player too.
That's the thing. Yeah. Like we did that exercise earlier where we took him out. Well,
he's still good.
There's a couple better out there, but yeah, I agree.
No. There you go. Ask the idiots for nationgear.ca. Submit your questions for the fellas in my DM. Slide on in. They don't see them before we do the segment, so they'll get their first take on all of it. We're going to start off. We're going to finish off the podcast with our hot and cold performers as we always do. And these are for nobody. Me. Congratulations. You're welcome. I will give this as a plug for the Daily Faceoff trade deadline special that'll be coming up on March 7th. Watch that everywhere. Liam might even be there.
The Daily Faceoff show?
Behind the scenes anyway.
I'm running the ops. We're not going to have a smelly room this year.
We're going to have 2 smelly rooms.
We're going to be upstairs.
Don't tell me I can't stink up that room upstairs. I'm going to drop a big turd and I'm not going to flush it and I'm going to leave the door open. Let's see if you guys are professionals.
There's no fan in that bathroom.
That's right. I'm going to put a fan in there blowing outward.
That would be messed up.
Diabolical. They're going to walk up there that day. Is that a fan?
You guys don't even know what it was like living in or working in an office with 3 other dudes and one of them was Coombsy. And there was a bathroom right next to our table.
Yeah, we tried to employ tour bus rules and he did not.
He was the only one that didn't listen. He's the only one that didn't follow them and he would take full on shit.
And if you had never been at that old Nation HQ, very small.
Very small.
Very small.
You stepped out of the bathroom and you were at the table.
Oh, lovely.
In a way. Liam, you're up first. We starting off with our veggies. Hot and cold performers. The Daily Faceoff trade deadline special, March 7th. Your cold performer of the week.
Well, I'm going to have to give it to myself. We had a bad coat decision the other day. Went outside and I have this great minus 40 coat. And I thought, no need. It's only like minus 15.
You're crazy.
Wind was nuts. I was freezing. So my coat selection.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
Felt deceived.
I did the exact same thing in Montreal where I'm looking. It was like, mine's 10, casual. No problem. So I only brought my little bomber jacket thinking I'd be fine. Minus 10 in Montreal is like minus 30 here.
It's a lake cold.
It's humid and it was insanely windy. And I don't know that I've ever complained.
Humidity sucks.
Humidity pierces layers.
Always moist.
That was the worst.
Oh, well, that was crazy.
It was disgusting. Felt like I was swimming all day.
Dan?
Clothed.
My cold performer of the week is going to go out to the guy that gave his team a pep talk ahead of the game. He gave him a phone call. He's now 0-2 in sports predictions this year. King Donald Trump.
What the hell is going on?
For that?
What the hell is going on?
Yes. His
fair enough.
Sports takes.
Well, yeah. We're not going political here. We're going to stay sports related.
Rick, cold performer.
It goes out to the Toronto Blue Jays. You went out there and you chased 2 players over the last 2 years. You've thrown them 700. Both of them, you've offered both over $700 million. You have an incredible player in your own in your system that you've brought up from your farm system, who was born in Canada, whose father played in Canada. Everything about this guy just fits in Canada, fits in Toronto, and you won't pay Vladdy. That's ridiculous.
Good job.
You did that one for Tyler, didn't you?
Somebody had to do it for Tyler.
Yeah.
Soon to be New York Met, Vladdy Guerrero.
Oh yeah. Now you got a whole season of someone talking.
Will he or won't he?
That
Yeah.
jersey.
Yeah,
Fire
like-
those two guys right now.
Sales guy Jared has already got him in a Red Sox jersey.
Probably.
So, my cold performer of the week is my impatience, because I know we got the Olympics coming up shortly, but after watching that game last night, we have to wait a full year for best on best again.
This could be the gold medal day in 1 year from now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to wait a year, but I will. Just having to wait. That's what I'm going with.
Oh, that's cold.
Waiting.
Let's wrap up the podcast with our good news. Fellas, reversing the order. Ricky up first. Hot performer of the week for the daily face-off trade deadline special.
Team Canada.
Okay.
How bold of you.
He's a hot guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
going to give it to another leader, former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, for his message right after the game of
that was very
you
funny.
can't take our country and you can't take our game.
I'm not a big Trudeau guy, but that was a banger.
Yeah,
There you
that
go.
was
No one's ever 100% wrong or 100% right. So
That was
That
a
was
banger.
Hey,
pretty gangster.
I don't blame anybody for not being a Trudeau person, but in that moment, that was hell of a
I got a
message.
problem with authority.
You know what wasn't gangster of him? The video posted shortly after
Hey.
of him trying to hug people.
We were all as jacked up. I said some stuff last night that I didn't think I would even be saying. I was annex that bitch and all that nonsense.
come on,
But-
there's no filter there. Just stuff just rolls out.
Yeah,
Welcome to
it
my
was-
world.
It was anger.
Liam, hot performer of the week.
So you may remember I did myself as the cold performer of the week.
I do remember.
And this one spans back to many weeks. But I have gone from 0 to a hero in my golf sim league.
Mm.
I was dead last at one point, and our
Talking hoodies.
punishment was a toss-up between driving around the Henday 10 times or going to Denny's for that 24-hour pancake period.
Ride your bike on the Henday twice.
That would be brutal.
Yeah, driving around the Henday 10 times, that's casual.
Yeah, no problem.
I am now first in our league,
Nice.
and I am up 24.9 strokes on the next guy.
Wow,
We have
dominance.
2 weeks left, and it's been unbelievable. What a journey.
You just can't Sergio
I-
Garcia this one and go off the cart path
Yeah.
a few times. You'll be good.
So it's obviously a handicap league. So I was plus
Explain what that means.
a handicap is a golf handicap.
Obviously,
Obviously.
Peg Milk and Rick with it, so I had to explain it. Golf handicap. Go on.
He's
I
got
was
one
plus-
arm tied behind his back.
I was plus 34 to start the end. Not the best golfer.
And
Now
you're in
I
last
shaved
place.
I was last. And now I've shaved it down to plus 21.
Wow.
No, yeah, just
Still gets the good parking spot, too.
just
Is there a jacket in it for you
a green jacket?
to go along with
He's
your
in it,
cold
yeah.
performer?
Yeah. So how excited.
Please zoom in on me, Eli, for that thumbs up on that singer of a joke.
It's candy.
I've never made Rick laugh before.
Got him. Got him off guard.
That was wonderful. My hot performer of the week is I could watch the videos of like the Americans who were recording themselves watching the games and then seeing the OT and like the dejection on their face. I could watch that all day.
Yeah,
Please keep posting those online. Please keep tagging me in them, which some people are doing. I'll watch those for the rest of the time. That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not.
All right, fellas, score prediction tomorrow. Oilers Flyers, 11 a.m. Brunch for Ben Day. Rick, what do you got?
I'm going to go with back-to-back 5-2s.
Dan,
4-0 win for the Edmonton Oilers.
5-2s.
you're going to enjoy an 8-1 win tomorrow, everybody. We'll see you down at Greta.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.